It's time to kick back, enjoy Sunday Night Football between the 49ers and Broncos, and win $100,000. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Jason Mattis, of course, with Winning Bets, hanging out with you guys here. You can see that I'm a little sick. Yeah, my 3-year-old has only been at school for a week, but it didn't take him very long to bring home his first cold of the season, and it finally got its way around the family and got me. So you got to deal with squeaky voice Jason for this video, and I apologize. Hopefully, by the time we're back on the next one, we're feeling better, and the audio's feeling better for you guys. With that being said, what are we here to do? Well, we're playing the game on the NBC Sports Predictor app, where we can win $100,000, 49ers, Broncos, 7 questions. You got to answer all 7 questions right to take home that $100,000. All season long, I'm giving away $25 as well to the winner of the Winning Bets League. That's right, the Winning Bets League. If you need that league information, you can grab it from this video description. It's pretty easy. Join the league, have the most points, and take my money. Let's take a look and see who won last week. Looks like we had Arsenal 07 win with 40 points, so really nice. They got 5 of the 7 questions right, so just a nice entry there by Arsenal and taking my $25. So make sure you hit me up on PayPal, make sure you hit me up on Twitter, drop me that PayPal information, and I'll go ahead and send you that $25. You're having a nice little fall here, aren't you, man? You're taking my $25. Arsenal's looking pretty damn good in the Premier League. Times are good for you, my man. Let's keep the good times on rolling. And for everybody else, again, if you need that league information, you can grab it from this video description. Let's go ahead and talk this preview now before we jump into these questions. Again, it's 49ers and the Broncos. The Broncos are 1-1. Obviously, the season opener lost there to the Seahawks, kind of shooting themselves in the foot. But then in week 2, boy, they had a sweat to get by the Texans, and they needed a fourth quarter rally to go ahead and get by those Texans. So, and that was at home too in your season opener. And Broncos ain't looking all that great. They got some major injuries they got to go ahead and deal with. Surtain, the quarterback, and then also Judy at the wide receiver position. I'm recording this on Thursday. At this time, neither of those guys has practiced this week. So we'll just have to monitor that situation. I found this stat interesting doing the research. Russell Wilson has only completed 58.9% of his passes this year. The league leader is at 81%. I remember when Josh Allen came in the league, he was around 55, 60%. That's terrible. Russell Wilson, 51.8 or 58.1%. That is god-awful. That's your pass completion. The Broncos are going to go somewhere. They need some better play out of Russell Wilson in that quarterback position. The running back is a two-headed monster. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they both had 22 carries on the season. Williams is used a little bit more in the passing game, but from a running game standpoint, at least earlier on this season, the lows seem to be split relatively even. Sutton there from the wide receiver position, though, he's the number 1 guy there. He's number 1 in targets. Williams is actually number 2, and then Judy. It's not Judy. Williams is number 2, so keep that in mind. They love to use Williams out of the backfield, catching passes, and being dangerous with the ball in his hands. And in terms of the defense here for the Broncos, I mean, they look good, but they haven't really played anybody, right? Played Geno Smith and the Seahawks, and they played Davis Mills and the Texans. So while it looks good on paper, we need to see them against some better quality opponents to really, have a better feel for this Broncos defense. On the flip side there for the 49ers, they're also 1-1. They lost their opener to Chicago in the rain, so kind of give them a little bit of a pass on that one. And then they won last week against the Seahawks. We're back with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's the Jimmy Garoppolo show is the Trey Lance injury. He's going to knock him out, obviously, for a substantial amount of time. So Jimmy Garoppolo. What about George Kittle? Is he going to make his season debut? That's going to be something to monitor. Will George Kittle make his season debut? Definitely want to follow that one because he's involved in one of these questions. So that's going to be something to keep your eye on. The 49ers remain a run-heavy team. They've been run-heavy in previous seasons. Well, they're right back to their old ways. They're being run-heavy. They've had 82 rushing attempts versus 52 passing attempts. That is not the NFL norm. Normally, it's the other way. Not with the 49ers, though. Boy, are they run-heavy. And the flip side, just to give you the comparison, the Broncos, they passed the ball 73 times, and they've only ran the ball 51 times. So, yeah, the 49ers are definitely a run-heavy team. From the wide receiver position, Deebo Samuel, he leads the way with 13 targets. Brandon Ayuk is right behind him with 11. And then the rest, it's kind of just anyone's guess without Kittle, right? Once Kittle comes back, he'll be the number 3 or maybe in the number 2 option behind Deebo Samuel. But without Kittle, after you get Samuel and after you get Ayuk, you kind of just, you don't really know what you're going to get. Can kind of go from everybody, include the fullback there. I mean, that's how they love using the fullback in San Francisco. So, but Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are definitely the 2 guys. In terms of the 49ers defense, another defense that looks good. They've got 3 picks on the season, but kind of with the Broncos, they haven't really played anybody one. They went against Justin Fields, who's absolutely terrible, and they got to play him in a monsoon rainstorm. So we don't really know how that defense is. And they played the Seahawks with Geno Smith, so we don't really know about this 49ers defense easy. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to this game. Let's see which defense is real. Let's see who can win this game with their defense. The one thing we do get, which is rare to be at NFL Week 3, is you get a common opponent. Both of these teams has played Seattle. Obviously different scenarios, home opener, home and away, all that. But they've both played Seattle in this very short window, so we can lean on Seattle in the box scores of those games and what we saw to really help us out here. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into these 7 questions. Question 1 is Russell Wilson passing yards and passing TDs. Broncos are pass heavy. Look, 30 plus pass attempts in both of their games. Wilson is averaging 280 yards per game and 1 touchdown per game. 49ers pass defense is number 1 in the NFL. They're only allowing 143 yards per game. Again, though, that should be like an asterisk, right? We played Fields in the rain, and we played Geno Smith. But on paper, on stats, they do have the number 1 defense from a pass defense perspective. I'm going to go ahead and put Russell Wilson in at 250 to 279 yards, and he'll have 1 passing touchdown. Question 2 is Jimmy Garoppolo total yards and total TDs. I found it interesting they did total yards. This is a guy that if you look at his entire career, the most rushing yards he's had in one season is 62 yards. So this is not a guy that's going to rush a ton. So I don't really know how they did total yards. A little bit of a head scratcher to me, but that's what we get to work with here. The 49ers are averaging 170 yards per game through the air. Remember, they've had 2 quarterbacks, and one of those was in the rain in Chicago. So that's probably justifies their low number. They got out to that big lead against Seattle and was able to run the ball. The Broncos are allowing 166 yards per game, and Garoppolo is an upgrade in the passing game over Trey Lance. So because of that, I'm going to go 200 to 229 yards and 1 total touchdown. Question 3 is who's going to score the first touchdown of the game. Well, for the 49ers, we get Deebo Samuel, I mentioned, number 1 in targets. Brandon Ayuk, number 2 in targets. And then you get George Kittle. Again, we don't know if he's going to make his season debut. This is one to monitor because if he's active and playing, now he's a real contender to go ahead and be the first touchdown scorer. And then, of course, you get any other player. For the Broncos, we get Javonte Williams. He's even on carries with Melvin again, so no real separation there. But he is 2nd on the team in targets. Cortland Sutton, he's 1st in targets from the wide receivers by 8. And Jerry Jeudy's number 2 in wide receiver targets. And then you can also get any other player there for the Denver Broncos. How might these 2 teams score, though? The Denver Broncos have 0 rushing touchdowns on the season. The 49ers have 3 rushing touchdowns to 1 passing touchdown. Because of that, I'm going to do 49ers, any other player. We get their running backs, as they're not mentioned in this question. And you also get the fullback that they love to use. So I'm going to go ahead and do 49ers, any other player. Question 4 is on the Denver wide receivers, Jeudy versus Sutton. Who's going to have more receiving yards and who's going to have more TDs? I'm going to go ahead and say Sutton will have more receiving yards, and it'll be a tie for the touchdowns. For the receiving yards, look, he's leader in targets by 8. He's number 1 in the team in yards by 81 yards. While he does have 1 less touchdown than Jerry Jeudy, I still think that one's going to end in a tie. I don't think either one of these is going to get anything, right? It's not a guarantee that the ball is going to go Sutton's way. And you got Jerry Jeudy's injured coming to this game. So they could both have 0 just due to default by the injury. And then you could win the yards one because Sutton actually plays and Jeudy doesn't. Guys, make sure you're following the injury report. But even if Jeudy plays, I'm still doing Sutton and I'm still doing Ty. Next one here is longest completion of the second quarter. I mean, these are just complete guess. I'm going less than 20 yards in a complete guess. Next one is total touchdowns in the game. We got an over-under of 45.5 points. The team total for each is 22.5 and 23.5. So the sports books are thinking 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. I would say each team probably gets a couple. You add in some field goals. I'm going to go and say 5. I'm going to put it in at 5 touchdowns. And then the last question, as we always know, is who's going to win the game and what's going to be the win margin. The spread right now is 49ers minus 1.5 on the spread. Again, you really got to go back to the Seahawks here. It's a really great common opponent, and I know the Denver Broncos kind of shot themselves in the foot there with turnovers, but just look at that game. I think the 49ers were more convincing in their win. Let's even say that the Broncos win that game, right? They don't have those mistakes. I still think the 49ers were more convincing in their win against the common opponent. So I'm going to say the 49ers win this game by 4 to 5 points. I got it by 4 to 5 points. 2 good defenses on paper, struggling offenses, so to speak. I see this as a 24-20 game. That's kind of where I had it. It's 24-20 is kind of what it feels like. 49ers win the game by 4 to 5. All right, guys, there we have it. I'm sorry that my voice sounds like it does. And hopefully it wasn't too painful for you guys. But, of course, I wanted to hang out with you guys and talk this Sunday Night Football with you guys and give you guys my picks for this contest. Good luck with your picks, as always. Again, join the Winning Bets League if you want to take my $25. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. We'll see you guys back here next week on the next contest.
That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.